Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very happy for an invitation that you sent for me and for ACTA in Greece. And sorry, and very unhappy that I couldn't come to your conference, and I wanted to be close to you. So now I'm speaking from far, but again, I'm happy that I can give my message to all of you in London and for all Afghan people or for people who are working for human rights. And now I wanted to know, first of all, I wanted to answer to your question, but I'm waiting for your question. So because I'm a bit far from your conference and I wanted to follow it by internet, but I couldn't do it. Today, on Monday, we had an accident. Unfortunately, we lost 9 children, Afghan refugees children, and 3 women in Farmo Kornisi. It was some refugees who wanted to come by boat from Turkey to Greece. So again, we had a very bad victim on Monday. Today, again, this morning, we gathered with from Afghan communities or other NGOs in Sindama. We had a protest for these people, the rest of other people. So it was very bad things. Maybe it was a big shock for all the refugees in Greece, or it is, I think it's a big shock for all European countries. That's why maybe it's a big shock for us really. So maybe I was unhappy from Monday until now, most of the time, because we bring them in Omonia, in the center. We had a lot of things. Sometimes they love some of them, they love their mind, and they are thinking for their family, and we make a lot of documentaries for this accident. But according to Greek news, some of the Greek authorities, they are trying to make some excuses, and they say that we saved these refugees, but now it is an excuse really. But that's why we contact, as an Afghan community, we contact with other movie maker who make a documentary, and we will make a documentary that we can put it for all the refugees in Europe, and we will put a translator from our community that we will be sure for every details. That's why we need your support, and I wanted to hear you, I wanted to be in your conference, but I'm really unhappy for this, that I couldn't hear you, I couldn't follow your conference, because I wanted to share these things. It's a very bad show for all of us. It could destroy all of our mind, and we really couldn't today in Greece, every Afghan people who work in different positions, or even they are only a simple refugees or people who can just arrive, all of them, they gather in Sindama to attempt to follow the discussion that they had with these refugees. So now we are waiting for today we have again a meeting with the Greek authorities. We are trying to find the dead body first of all, and then we will see what will be happening with them. If they want only their dead body at this moment, if nothing else, and then we will decide what will be happening with them. Yeah, there is a lot of Greek people who are working for human rights, and the accident was in this way. there were 26 person in a boat. So they wanted to cross from Turkey to Greece, and the guard, Greek, Greek Coast Guard, they only joking with these people, and they only kicking these people in the water, and we have only some men and a woman with a child alive, and others we lost 3 women and 9 children, and thinking if it was a reason that they wanted to save these people, we have maybe 5 children, but now we have only some men. It's good. It's something that it's cool for us. Or maybe in this week we can make a documentary, and we will share to our website, or maybe we can share with all the group and maybe to you, that we will learn. And I think it needs all of our support that we can change. We can do beautiful things for refugees who are staying for a long years in Greece, and again, but they are really in tension, but they cannot concentrate for nothing. That's why it is really necessary for all of us that we can help, and for all of you, because you have more opportunity, you have more power, because everything is better than here. Yeah. Very nice, yeah. Thank you so much for invitation, and to be all the best, and please. Thank you.
Now we have only about 3 to 5 minutes for the Q&A. Dr. Khurshid Sanakhan will continue with her next question. And if there were any other questions, please raise your hand.
I have a little question. You said in your presentation that there are people, I think we were talking about Kunduz that time, Kunduz region, Kunduz. You said that there are health facilities there, but people don't go to those health facilities, even if they are next to their homes. Why is that happening?
The thing is that in our facilities we have 2 different kind of facilities. 2 hospitals are general hospitals where we support the Ministry of Public Health. 2 other hospitals are specialized hospitals. One is maternity, the other one in Kunduz is a trauma hospital. So in Kunduz, for example, if you are a woman with a liver, actually she cannot come to our facility. This is why actually in our survey we've asked also for previous episodes of illness to understand where else they could have been. So what I tried to explain earlier was there's a gap between what is supposed to exist in theory on the paper, and what is usually mentioned in official documents, either international health documents from donors or at country level, and what exists in reality. There are many clinics that can be as schools or other buildings that can be built where at the end there's never clinicians, there's no drugs, there's no services that are provided. So that's usually one reason that is really mentioned by patients. There's also, to mention the distrust probably between the patients and the public services, is that often doctors in the public services try to divert patients towards their own private services or clinics. Despite the fact that public services are supposed to be free, in reality, as I explained, it's not really the case. So that's the main reasons I see to answer your questions, why people are in a way, well, also to say in reality that MSF, we work with a lot of international staff, with drugs coming from abroad, this also attracts patients. So in a way, MSF providing services in a location, in a region, kind of disrupts the provincial provision of services. So that can be a kind of bias in the study.
With that, I'd like to thank Mr. Renzo Frick, Ms. Rehana Popol, and Claire Quaid for their valuable contributions, and thank you for listening. I'd like to call upon Ms. Carolyn Fisher from University of Oxford, Ms. Khadija Abbasi from the Graduate Institute Geneva and the University of Zurich, and Mr. David M. Clark from Today Advisory Services to join me in the next panel, which will be mostly about the Afghan diaspora communities. Introduction to our first speaker, Carolyn Fisher. Carolyn Fisher is pursuing her DF Film in Development Studies at the Oxford Department of International Development. Her research proposal is titled Conditions of Agency in a Transnational Context, Afghan Diasporas and Their Engagement for Development and Change in Afghanistan. Carolyn received a diploma degree in sociology from Deerfield University, where she specialized in the field transnationalization and development. I'd like to call her to talk about her current research and other points about the diaspora communities in the UK and in Germany. This one? I'm not promised that
Okay, can you hear me all right? Right, good. First of all, many thanks to the organizers for inviting me to speak to you here today. I'm very happy to be here. So when I was invited to join the panel, I thought I would use the opportunity to share with you how I have been approaching the Afghan diaspora from an academic perspective. And as part of my doctoral research, I'm looking at, as David pointed out, Afghan populations in Britain and Germany. I am interested in how people come to be actively engaged either in the context of the Afghan community or in Afghanistan itself. So over the next 10 minutes, I will be addressing 3 points that may help ground our discussion in the academic literature on diasporas and clarify a little bit how and where the Afghan case fits in. So first of all, what is a diaspora? About 3 decades ago, the notion of diaspora attracted little general attention. So it was a niche topic that was primarily discussed among historians, anthropologists, and scholars who were interested in migration. But this has now fundamentally changed. In 2005, Roger Brubaker famously noted that there has been a veritable explosion in the interest in diasporas since the late 1980s. So the notion of diaspora began to proliferate and to appear in various intellectual, cultural, as well as political contexts. This, however, created much confusion about what diaspora actually means. So I think despite, or perhaps even because of this confusion, it is necessary and also possible, however, to identify 3 core elements that underlie most definitions and discussions of diaspora. So the first one is dispersion. Dispersion meaning people dispersed across various countries worldwide. Dispersion may be forced, as it is the case in situations of war, conflict, and persecution, but it may also result from economic migration, family formation, or family reunification. So also that dispersion must not necessarily cross international state borders, but can also include instances of internal displacement. The second characteristic criterion for a diaspora is homeland orientation, meaning identification with a real or imagined homeland as a source of value and loyalty. Yet, as a characteristic feature of a diaspora, it does not go undisputed and has been criticized for being essentialist and too strongly informed by the idea or ideal of return. So instead of exclusively focusing on the relationship between a diaspora and its homeland, also decentered or lateral connections to co-nationals living in other countries should be considered. So, and the third and last constitutive criterion of a diaspora is referred to as boundary maintenance. It involves the preservation of a distinctive identity vis-à-vis a host society, but again, it is treated with ambivalence in the literature. On the one hand, the preservation of identity among members of a diaspora is widely emphasized. At the same time, however, Stuart Hall notes that the diaspora experience is defined not only by essence of purity, but also by the recognition of the necessary heterogeneity and diversity that comes along with long periods of life abroad and the emergence of second, third, and perhaps in some cases even fourth generations. So what we see is a tension in the literature between boundary maintenance and also the dissolution of boundaries. So now, moving on from theoretical concepts to the Afghan diaspora in practice or on the ground, and I think there we have to make some concessions. Based on the interviews I have conducted in Britain and Germany, I discovered that academic concepts do not necessarily fully capture what is actually going on. So, with regard to the first criterion, dispersion, it's quite obvious that as a result of 4 decades of war, Afghans have been dispersed widely and to numerous destinations across the world.